That was awesome. This is my 1986 Ford F-150 with a 302. This is the very first year and the only motor of this year that Ford put the electronic fuel injection on. That was one of the reasons I got this truck. I just wanted to be able to turn key and not have to worry about carburetors and whatnot. I mean, I like carburetors, but I just wanted a truck I was able to just jump in and not have to worry about just odd issues here and there. And like I said, it's a shop truck. I use it for running around parts, picking up things and whatnot. One of the things that's been bothering me with this truck is the rear gas tank. You can't get gas in it. I thought the gauge was bad. It was showing empty, so I was trying to run it, and it was running as much as possible. And I thought the gas was bad in it because it was running bad on that tank. So I just kept trying to run it, and eventually it just got to the point where it wouldn't run on that tank anymore. And you go to the gas pump, and I mean, you try to go any more than one click and it's shooting gas out, and it does not want to take gas in that rear tank at all. So I've been running on a front tank. So we're gonna pull that tank out and see what's happening. Filler necks on these trucks, and I think they're pretty much all the same. There's two tubes in the filler neck. There's one that goes down, feeds the fuel, and then a second one that comes up out of the tank, purges air out of the tank up to the neck and the top. I'm assuming that second smaller tube fell off or is pinched off or something is going on, but I don't know. We're gonna find out here. Oh, one other thing, rear brakes. I don't know what's going on. I think they just need to be adjusted up. Maybe I should pull a drum off and see what's going on inside. It runs pretty good. It's got a rear oil leak on the main I gotta take care of someday, but today, yeah, we're gonna get after this gas tank and see what the hell's going on around here. We don't take too kindly gas tanks that don't take too gas around here. Let's get you guys in here, you see what I'm doing. Quit standing around. This is a California truck. Well, you guys from the Midwest know that this never happens. You're usually trying to get this off on the side of the highway, and this is all rusted up, froze up in that nut on top. You turn it a couple of times and it breaks off, and then it just spins and you sit there and cuss. Never a good time. Right. This is where we, hopefully it's not too heavy. Oh, I should be able to handle that. Oh yeah. Easy peasy. Look at that gas tank. Wow. I tell everybody all the time that's looking for a vehicle, well, where I live in, oh, that's not even tight. Wisconsin. Everything is just totally rotted out all the time. It doesn't matter. Vehicle's like 3 years old and it's just rust. And I tell people all the time looking for a used vehicle, well, it doesn't matter what you're gonna get. It's worth that one weekend or drive or a few days or even take a whole week vacation. It's worth it to go down south, way out west, and pick up a vehicle that hasn't seen salt, because it doesn't matter the miles or anything. You get a vehicle with no salt or out of a area with no salt, and everything is immaculate. You can take stuff apart. It doesn't have issues. The number one killer of vehicles in the Midwest, like where I live, in the salt belts, is rust. If it wasn't for rust, you could keep a vehicle basically going forever. Oh yeah. Okay. What? Bolt heads are smaller than the nut. I think this truck has been undercoated too. I don't know if it's a Z-bar undercoat or... I mean, look how, even the bottom side of that is just perfect. And the tank looks brand new, look at that. I can't get over it. It blows my mind every time I see one of these vehicles. You guys down south have it made. You have no idea how easy you have it. For this filler neck tube over here, some guy at the factory thought it would be a funny idea to point the head of the hose clamp up towards the box so you can't get to it from down here. I'm sure he was laughing. I don't know how many vehicles he did that to. Probably everyone. He's like, it's gonna be funny. One of the nice things about these older trucks too, all these fuel lines on here are all plastic, never rust out. Our last plow truck, a 1987 plow truck that we were using, all the lines were plastic, never ever rusted out. That's a big problem too with the newer trucks. And it got to the point where both gas tanks rusted out, and I actually drilled a hole in the bottom of the box, cut off the fuel line, stuck it up through the bottom of the box, and just stuck it inside of a gas tank every time I wanted to use the truck, because the fuel pump is up on the rail up here. I don't know why Ford got away from using these plastic fuel lines. That was nice. If you're working off of a hoist and you don't have a tranny jack, do yourself a big favor and get a tranny jack. They ain't just for trannies anymore. And I'm not talking about the Bud Light kind of trannies. So awesome. What? How much gas is in there yet? Holy, it is full of gas yet. What is going on? The fuel selector between the front and rear, I wonder if the return is always pumping back to this back tank. I've never run across that yet, but I mean, it can happen. I gotta unhook the lines that go up to the fuel pump yet, but I can't get to them until this is down far enough. Well, I can get to them now because it's down far enough. All right, hopefully you guys can kind of see. You can see it about as good as I can see. So there's these little clips on these fuel lines that get pulled out. And they're always a pain in the ass. They go so far and then it gets stuck because they have a barb on them. And a lot of times, yep, they break them. So here's half of it. I don't know if you guys can see. That's half of the clip. It's supposed to be a leg on this side too. I've got all kinds of those because that always happens. Especially if these are original. I'm sure they are. They're brittle and they break off easily. There. That one stayed in one piece. You see that one? Kind of. Sorry, the lighting kind of sucks. It's yeah, just snaps in there, holds that fuel line on to the sending unit. Now hopefully shit tons of fuel doesn't come squirting out of here. Like that. See? Oh yeah. Not too bad. And this one. Not too bad. Now this, you gotta get the wire plug off. Just like that. There, wiring off, that off. There's one evap hose. Just a little rubber hose that sticks on this metal line up here. It's for evacuating the air shit out of the stuff. I'm gonna get a couple of caps to plug off those lines because that gas tank is so full it's gonna be trying to spurt out of those lines when we're moving it around. Another trick too, take a rubber hose and you just loop these. That keeps them from leaking, but we're gonna see if those work. Somewhat methodically let this down without it falling on my head, spilling everything all over and catching on fire. Being one of the many videos on YouTube where the whole garage burns down. Careful-ing. It's just like twist this a little bit. That should be good. Gas gonna come out of there? No. There. I don't know, can you see this? This is the tube that's inside. Oh yeah, maybe it is disconnected. This is the one, the small one that goes inside of the filler neck that feeds air back up to the top, so that one's out of there. Just come on. Well, oh, come on. There. That was easy. There's this locking ring in here. It's got tabs on it. You use a punch. I use a punch that has a rounded off edge for pounding on these tabs. You don't want to really dig into them. You work your way around. Little tappy tap on each one. Oh, she's already loose. Okay, now when this ring is loose, you don't want to pull that sending unit yet. You want to vacuum all that junk out of there first. And I should say, because I know somebody's going to say vacuuming around gas tanks and gasoline is not really advised. If you suck up a bunch of gas or something out of one of these lines, you risk the vacuum exploding because gas vapors and whatnot inside of the vacuum, and sparks from the motor of the vacuum and whatnots and stuff, and it can be danger, extreme danger stuff. I'm just trying to work my way around, get as much of this dust and junk around this sending unit broke up as I can without disturbing, without lifting it at all. I just want to get that all vacuumed up as best as possible. If you Midwest guys are like me, you're having an aneurysm right now because how clean this is. 1986 original. Oh, she's full of stuff. Oh, we got to tilt her back some too. Hopefully it doesn't slide off of my tranny jack. Again, not the Budweiser kind. Strapping this down to the trans jack. There we go. Now can we lift this? Yeah. Okay. Oh, that is, I'm gonna tilt it a little bit more yet. That is plumb full. Wow. There's a pickup pump. Well, look at, no line in between there. I wonder if that, oh my gosh. Boot just tore right off of the end there. Or the sock, I guess you call it. Probably the main reason why I'm having problems with this tank. I'm wondering what that front gas tank looks like now. Alright, I'll take this up on the bench and we'll play around with stuff up there. Let me get some gas cans and get this stuff out. Alright, non-gas rated tube. I don't want to suck right off the bottom because that's where all the junk is. I want to get stuff off the top as much as possible. Oh yeah, that'll be good. Alright, you just take this in, stick the hose right on, you're going past the end of the tube. Just like that. It is a pretty big tube, so that's going to fill up in a hurry. Half full. Fries are done. Oh, I gotta piss like a racehorse. And that's pretty much it. A little bit in there yet. Come here, have a look-see. See what I'm seeing. Now you guys can kind of see, maybe without getting the light and everything in the way. There's some, I don't know. There's chunks of stuff and slime on the bottom. I don't know what that like slime is. It's weird. I'm gonna throw some, well, there's big chunks up in here, way up in here. Oh yeah. You see in that pocket up in there where the sock would fit, there's some big chunks up in there. So I'm gonna get those out, probably with my finger and stuff. Clean up as much big stuff as I can out of here. Here again, especially inside like this, don't use any kind of vacuum, shop vac or anything, because you're sucking up fuel vapors in that shop vac, and the whole canister of the shop vac is basically then a bomb or a big explosive area, and one little spark in there and it pops it right off. In my shop, anything flammable like these rags covered in gas or anything, I put in my wood burner in my furnace. So if they do catch fire, it's okay. I think I'm gonna replace this hose because you see those cracks. Won't be long and they'll be right through. Look at that. All along those edges. They're not through yet, but it won't be long. I'm surprised how soft and pliable this is yet. That, when we were talking about that two hoses, you can see here, this bottom portion is where the gas was supposed to flow in, and then there's a little pocket up here. That hose, that breather hose that goes back up to the filler neck, is supposed to sit in this pocket on the top side here. So when you put that back together, we gotta make sure that hose goes in this upper slot, and it actually like directs it up to the top of the tank up here. That's good. I mainly only have to clean the junk off the bottom. Maybe I could do that with a good pressure washer and wash. It's not a big deal now if stuff gets down in there because we got to clean it out. That grommet is still good. Clean that up and reuse on that. Yeah, I think we're just gonna, I'm gonna go after it with a pressure washer and just see how that does, because I should be able to get in there. pretty good all around. You guys are even watching what I'm doing. Yeah, pressure washer. I should be able to get that wand in pretty much all directions. And while I'm at it, I'll clean up the outside of this tank. Oh, she's gonna be like, you're not even gonna believe it when you see it. It's gonna be like brand new. All right, let's have a look at this. See what kind of problems we got. Besides, obviously, the hose is gone here. And looking at this, the sending unit is really floppy. And I was looking through this little hole right here, and there's a little finger that rides on a scale. And moving this over actually pulls that finger away, so that might be why it wasn't reading empty all the time. Have a look-see at this pickup pump first. Connections all look pretty decent. I mean, I don't see no problem with wiring. What is this? That's 12 volts. Oh yeah. So red, I'm hoping is positive. I don't think it doesn't really matter. DC motor. Run forward or reverse typically. Black to black, and this is, oh, it is labeled, so there's negative, and this should be positive, and stuff should happen. Nothing? Do something. Wow. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah. That. Nothing. Alright, you can see the impeller down in here. Oh, never mind. Oh, the fins just broke off. Ah, yep. Cheat on. So there's another little part we gotta get while we're there. Hopefully that comes with, and it should come with a sock and the rubber boot that holds it up on the bottom. Alright, as you can see, this tank came out super nice. The inside still has like a black coating on the bottom, but if I rub it now, it doesn't come off. It's not like before where I'd rub this and my whole hand was just black and horrible. So, you know, and yeah, this is the original tank, even though it looks like it does. That's what I was saying. You can get a vehicle from down south, no rust, and stuff is just super nice shape. Again, like I said, anybody from the Midwest knows anything about sending units and what this area looks like. Yeah, you're pretty jelly right now. So I ordered the parts. They gotta wait. They gotta come in. Supposed to be in a couple of days. So now I just sit around here and kind of twiddle my thumbs. That pickup pump over here, this one here, this pickup pump, the little one, they wanted like $90 for that. And then I was going to just try and repair this sending unit. I asked them how much that is. Sending unit with the pump was $120, so basically $30. So I just said, yeah, give me the whole assembly. I am wondering now, because this truck, there's everything in this truck. There's plugs, wires, cap. Actually, there's a whole new distributor in this truck. I changed out the fuel filters. The rear one was horrible. There's a filter in the fuel selector on the frame rail that's kind of hidden. Actually, let me show you. Just calm down. We're getting there. Ooh, doggy. She bright up in here now. Here is one fuel filter. You see, it's brand new. That's the one that everybody sees. Everybody changes that one. Here is the main pump that's on the fuel rail in these trucks. In the later trucks, they put them both main pumps right in the gas tank. Here you can see that plastic fuel line. I love these old plastic fuel lines like this. They had nothing besides getting squished or a hole poked in them, which rarely ever happens. Nothing ever happens to these lines. They never rust out. They never have problems. I love them. I wish they would go back to them. But what I was talking about is you come back here. Here is the fuel selector between the rear and the front tanks. And then there's 2 lines coming out the front that goes to the motor and the return, and 4 out the back, 2 to the rear tank, 2 to the front tank. One's feed, one's a return. In here, right here where this unscrews, there is a small filter in there. It's like a pre-filter, and it's actually a little bit smaller. It's just tiny compared to that one. Everybody always changes that filter. Nobody ever thinks about this one because they don't think there's nothing in there. So I forget actually what they call it. I don't think it's actually even called a filter. It's a cartridge. It's not this. This is just a cap on the bottom. It's a cartridge that actually goes inside of there. So if you're changing fuel filters on one of these older Fords, look back at this tank selector and see if it has this screw-on cap on the bottom. Here again, I've seen 2 different styles. There's a shallow cap and then there's a deeper cap. What the difference is, I really don't know. So either way, when you're changing filters on these trucks, always come back and check and see if you have this and get this filter changed, because this is the first filter in line. This is the most important one to check out. And then, I mean, if you notice, everything underneath this truck, I mean, there's no rust whatsoever anywhere in these rocker corners, edges of the box, along the frame. I mean, just nowhere. The most there is on the very bottom, some surface rust where stuff rubbed off. Otherwise, it's just nothing. What I'm wondering about now, since I saw what I saw in that rear tank, wondering if I should drop this front tank and see if there's problems in there, because I mean, it runs well on the front tank, but it's still not 100%. Like I said, I've switched everything else. I've done fuel filters and ignition and all that stuff, and it's still a little funny. Now I'm starting to wonder what's going on maybe in this front tank, but I think there's quite a bit of gas in here. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave this front tank for now. I'm gonna get that rear tank in and see how it runs off of that after clearing all that up, and then go from there. And if that runs a lot better on that rear tank after all that work, then I'll drop that front tank. I was just taking a look up in here. You can see, well, I'm gonna roll over the cord. You can see up in here how wet this lower bell housing is, but then I was looking up in here, and it looks like it's wet all the way up. I'm wondering if that valve cover gasket is just pouring out and it's just following that bell housing down, and I'm thinking it's just the main in the back here leaking, which I'm sure that rear main probably leaks. I'm gonna jump around here a little bit. While we're here, we're gonna check the fluid in the rear end. See what we got going on. And when you pull the plug out, you don't get all kinds of crap up inside of the rear end. Try to minimize as much crap getting into things as possible all the time. Oh yeah. Easy peasy. There's something there already? Oh, no. Stick my finger down in the hole. Oh yeah, there's something in there. Smells alright. Just to make sure. Second finger, yep. It's right there. That's good enough. See, you don't have to crank that down. Just snug. You don't need to refine or check on this one since we're right here. See, Ford is almost always 13/16. Yep, so is this one. Oh, no. There be pad stuff on those pads. Rotors look really nice. Wow. Wheel cylinder's a little damp, but these pads might be just a little glazed over. This is 80 grit sandpaper. You just a little bit. Just to get that glazing off and expose some new pad material, because look at that axle face. That's just, I don't know if that's coming up on camera or not. How does that even not have rust on it? It's just unbelievable. Then same thing inside of the rotor. Break that glaze. Brand new brakes. I think we can adjust those up a little bit. Still turning it. There must be a limited slip in this rear axle. It's turning the other wheel, huh? Can you guys see that? Yeah. I mean, I can't. It takes quite a bit to. Yeah, there's got to be a limited slip in that rear axle. Alright. This feels a little bit loose, so we're going to adjust that up a little bit. Adjuster down here. That. Well, that's pretty sticky. Oh, maybe that's not even working. Maybe that's part of the problem. That's kind of working. Well, let me pull it out and clean it up. That could be the whole reason why this isn't working like it's supposed to. Here's that adjuster. It goes in between the bottom of the two shoes on the back, and there's actually a thread in here and a little lever that rides on this wheel. See, there's like teeth on that wheel, so like as it loosens up the shoes, that little lever pulls it up and gives it another click, and spreads this thread apart, and then it pushes those shoes further out on the bottom, taking up the wear as it's wearing. So you guys can see here, sits down right here and pushes the bottom of these shoes out. So as the shoes wear, it takes that slack out slowly over time. And if this is sticky like it was, it can't adjust that out, and then your pads aren't taken up, or their shoes aren't getting taken up with that slack. So I'm gonna clean this up. And I use this brake caliper lube for all this kind of stuff. So put a little bit of that on these threads. A little bit down on that bore, all over my hand. There. That back together. And then on this end, there's actually just a flat slip spin joint. So same thing, need some of that lube on there. Down inside of that hole. There we go. Nice and slippery. Get this back in here. Wow. There. Go to your home. At your home. There we go. Maybe. There we go. That clicking you hear is this little paw or lever, and that's what I was talking about. That's what actually engages on these teeth on that adjuster. You hear it's ratcheting right now because I'm turning it out to bring it back up to where it was. Right there, snugged up. So then when you put on the brakes, that paw like actually pushes down a little bit. When the brakes get, it's a whole mechanism. If the brake shoes are able to travel far enough, it brings this paw up far, goes on to the next click, next tooth. And when you release the brakes, it pushes that down and makes an adjustment, one tooth at a time, as the shoes wear out. So lots more. A little bit more. Still more. What I'm looking for is that brake drum to just barely be making contact when you have it on there. So right now I can tell it's not making any contact. You can actually wiggle this drum back and forth in that, and it tells me that that's too loose here. So this was actually quite a bit out of adjustment, I think, before. Oh, there we go. That don't feel too bad. It's a little bit snug. I mean, it's, well, that's rubbing a little bit too much. So then you gotta lift up that adjuster, that little cam or paw, and bring this back just a couple. Right there. Make sure your shoes are set in. Should be pretty good right here. Yeah. See, it's like right there. I think that's pretty good. All right, this side is done. Let's go do the other side. I'm assuming it's the same situation. Same old situation. These adjusters are side specific, because the other side, right hand thread, this side is left hand thread. Oh yeah, see that? And obviously it does make a difference. On this one, I know that, yeah, it goes that way because you got to line up the spur gear or index gear or whatever you want to call this with the cam or the paw or indexer or whatever that's called on that side. All right, next little thing I wanted to tackle in this truck is, I'll check the coolant while I'm here. There ain't nothing. Good. The steering box. Okay, now the steering gear, steer box. The steering wheel isn't super loose, but it's just enough where it's a little bit annoying. There's an adjustment right here on top of the gearbox. There's a nut, and then it's got a slot in it for like a flathead screwdriver to adjust the stud. That stud actually moves. I believe it's called the sector gear, up and down. You do not, it's not advisable to like really get in here unless you know what you're looking for, because you're only adjusting this to like 1/8 of a turn at a time. because the center of the steering gear, the sector and everything, they actually build the center little bit of the steering a little tight for that reason, so it's nice and snug when you're driving down the road in the middle where you're typically going straight. If you adjust, if there's wear in that very center and you adjust this up, when you turn the steering wheel like about a third of a turn, it's going to tighten up and there's going to be a sticky spot, because that like 2/3 of steering from center, like a third each way, is where they have that tighter than the rest of the travel of your steering. So it's going to be a little bit funny. One of the things I do right off the bat is along this slot is just make a mark which way that slot was facing in the beginning. That way if you totally mess up and everything is going awry, you can usually come back to that. Socket under just to get you broke free. Don't turn it, just break it free. And see, it already moved off that mark because I broke that nut free. So right where that is, that's like 1/8 of a turn from where it was. So now I'm going to go over there, I'm going to turn the wheel back and forth just in that slop area, watch my front wheels that are off the ground and see if they're turning with any little adjustment with the steering wheel. Again, here I'm not looking for absolutely perfect, I just want to take a little bit of that slop up. Alright, so this adjustment on this screw down here, to take up the slack, you're actually going clockwise, you're turning it in to take up the slack in the steering. Again, you don't want to go very much at all. 1/8 of a turn at a time, and you feel the steering. 1/8 of a turn, feel the steering. And you really don't want to go past more than like 1/2 of a turn. Because like I was saying, the way those gears are, they actually build them to be a little bit tighter tolerance in the center. So like that middle 2/3 of steering or turning with the steering wheel is actually tighter than the rest of the travel. If you get the very center of that 2/3 of steering, where you typically are in the center, worn down, where you got to take up that much room or that much adjustment, once you get out of that very center, in between whatever that worn spot was and that third, depending which way you're turning, the steering is actually going to get tight and it's going to stick and want to stay there. It's not going to return nice and stuff. You can play with it a little bit, go out and drive around, and if your steering turns a little bit and then sticks on the side a little bit on each side, you got to come back and back that screw off, that adjustment screw off, like 1/8 of a turn. Go out and see if it does it again. Right now I got this up on the lift so the tires are off the ground, so I can feel that it's not sticking right where it is. I adjusted this. It's a little over 1/4. What is that, 1/3 of adjustment clockwise? And I think I'm going to try that out for a while and see how it is. It's not sticky. The slop is very minimum. I can totally live with what it is right now. So I'm going to tighten that nut back up, and we're going to leave it there for now. So yeah, mine actually went, like you can see where that slot is, where that mark is. It actually went to 1/2 a turn after I tighten up that nut. To get by with that, not doing that, you can use a crow's foot on the nut while you hold the slot, the stud, with a screwdriver and tighten it down, but you got to get a little bit tighter than that actually. So I think what you want to do is get it counterclockwise just below adjustment, bring that nut up till it touches that plate, and then crank it down, and I think it'll come back to wherever you want it to be adjusted. Yeah, like I said, you don't want to adjust on that a lot, just a little bit, and hopefully take out a little bit of slop and just be happy with it. You're not trying to get it perfect. Let's take a peek in the disappointment canister here. Oh, well, that's pretty nice. just slightly low on that front, which is actually for the rear, which makes sense, I guess, because I'll just top that off a little bit. Mazel. Right here. P steering. What's in there? There's a little bit in there. I guess we can top that off. Used. Okay. Alright. Oil. I just changed oil in here not long ago. Oh yeah. Right up to the mark. Clean enough. Transmission, I can't really check. Where's the transmission dipstick? Is there no transmission dipstick on here? What? There's gotta be. Well. Oh yeah. Oh, they're hiding her on me. Oh. Oh yeah, we'll pretend we didn't see that. That's okay. Yeah. Everything is good up here. What else? That battery is way too small for this truck. Works though. Air conditioning. I have no AC in here, but I don't think I'm gonna play with it yet. I checked in a valve and it's holding a little air pressure, so it holds something. I'm just not ready to. I don't have the oil to put in. I think I have some. This actually might be R12 yet. I got some R12. I can do that. I'm gonna wait though right now. We'll see. Well, I figured since we're all standing here, here's those fuel lines that went to the rear tank. I'm gonna go cycle the key on just the front tank and see if gas is dumping back to this rear tank. If it is, I'm gonna have to pull apart possibly that fuel selector valve and see what's going on inside of there. Maybe it's just a O-ring or something that needs to be replaced, or maybe it needs to be totally rebuilt. I don't know. We'll find out. But first thing first is, like I said, I'm gonna go cycle that key and see if gas comes out. Hopefully not. You guys watch. Let me know if it comes out. If it does, holler. Make sure I hear you. Anything come out yet? No? Yes? I'm gonna start up the truck and we'll see what happened. Nothing yet? We'll shut this off before we gas ourselves out of the garage here. We could take a little bit of carbon monoxide, dioxide, monoxide. I never know which one is which. We could take a little bit, but not a real lot. Oh yeah, there was a greaser on this. All right, so new sending unit came in, lining it up here. Everything looks right. Things are in the right places. Good. I forgot to order the filler hose that goes in the end of the gas tank, so we're waiting on that too. That should be in within an hour here, they tell me. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap in the sending unit and get that all buttoned up and ready to go. Get our new seal in. I like the oil use up just because, make sure it gets in that groove. It doesn't want to sit in that groove very good. New sending unit. I think it goes in, this way. Yep. Try not to bump that gasket in there. And I bumped that gasket in there. Is it sitting down there? Wiggle that around a little bit while you push on it. Get that seal to sit down in that groove right. Hold it down while I get the locking ring started in here. Good, good. Here again, little tappy, next tab, little tappy, next tab. Work your way all the way around. All the way till it sits nice and centered, and it's all the way up against those little stops on the end of the ring. I'm gonna give these bars a little extra squished down, just to make sure. Go all the way around a couple of times here. Do a little, I use just chain oil for most stuff, but even though this doesn't see much salt, we're still gonna lube this up. Keep it from getting rusty and bad from rain and moisture and stuff. All right. I guess now we wait again, like 40 minutes, but it's gonna be like right now for you guys. All right, it's an hour later. We got a hose. It's a precision fit, they say. This hose, I don't know if you can see, has a slight bend in it on that end and this end. Clocked like 90 degrees apart from each other. I honestly don't remember how exactly that was. I'm assuming something like that, because the filler neck's at an angle up, so I'm assuming flattens out, goes through the frame wheel and hooks up out here. So I'm gonna do that. These worm clamps, you crank them down until they skip over a tooth, and then you just bring them up until they snug up again, and then that's how you know those are tight. There we go. Let's toss her in. Terrifying. Oh, there's too much junk in this garage, not enough room. Wow. That was awesome. Good times. Don't worry, it'll only land on the corner. It'll be okay. You gotta kind of go at an angle up in here. Get that hose up. What? How you know come this way? Not as easy as I remember. Oh yeah, now we can see stuff. So there's this evap hose. Goes on this little hard line up here. All right, now we got a smaller line that goes on the smaller line, like so. Pop that cap off that big line. You guys can see these goofy little clips. There's a white one and a black one. I think, if I remember right, the white one goes in the small line, the black one goes in the big line. And they're just as weird going in as they are coming out. Oh, okay, there we go. Bolts in. Make sure there ain't no wires or stuff getting pinched underneath. Ah, throw these straps back up right now. Swan. There's tool. Get this out of the way. Well, these fasteners have a super critical torque. They're supposed to be torqued too. Otherwise you can ruin everything. Right there. Did you get that? Just like that. Just like that. See, if you don't get that just right, you're gonna have a bad day. There's this hose clamp up here. You guys looking at it? Probably not. This hose clamp holds the filler and the active metal part. There's a little tab off the bottom of the box that holds that to that. Let's see what the all the way. Where's she gonna go? Right in the peepers. Right on there. Just like that. Crank, crank, crank. Click. Hey, you're trying to get that spare tire up there. That's always a good time, especially when you don't have that center mount for it. You know, make sure when you put your spare tire in the truck, the one that carries underneath, that the valve stem is facing down. That way you can check on her. I don't know how this is. How are you gonna? Boy, this seems like a bad idea. Oh yeah, terrible idea. Oh, not too bad. Get that kind of centered. There's supposed to be a post in here that this screws to, but that's not a fun time playing with that on the side of the road when you need your spare tire. Doesn't have to be on there, just so it doesn't slip out of there. That's good. And look, I put that valve stem right above this bar, so that's perfect. Can't get to that. Excellent. These are the non-government compliant gas cans because, well, as you can see, they don't leak. It actually pours gas. It does what it's supposed to do. You know, can't have stuff that works. So I think when I pulled all the gas out of this tank, I filled 3 of these cans plus a little bit more. So it was around 19 gallons-ish. These are 6-gallon cans. So 1 can should put me at about 1/3 of a tank, maybe 1/4-ish. We'll see. Let's see if that gauge works now. This is a good time for me to mention, if you stuck it out this long, all 4 of you, maybe 3 now, and you made it through all that torture of this long, boring video, please like and subscribe. See some more of my future boring, monotonous videos. Maybe you can put them on, put your kids to bed, bore them to death, torture the wife with them. Look, if that was a government can, that would have been like another like 2 hours to fill that up. First thing I want to do down here is a fuel selector. We're going to go to rear tank, switch that right away. You guys can watch this gauge. I'm going to try and listen for a fuel pump. It's going to be hard to hear it, and I probably won't hear it over the one on the frame rail. Did sound like there was 2 different gas pumps, but gas gauge is moving slowly. Yeah, I can definitely hear 2 fuel pumps. Let's start it up. Runs really nice. Kind of disappointed that gas gauge isn't working. Oh well. That's not crucial. I don't actually need a gas gauge. I know what's going on, and I got a second tank. If I run out, I just switch over. That's not too big of a deal. It's running good. I don't know. The pump works. That's the main thing. Pump, pick up. That's doing what it's supposed to do. So there we go. He did some stuff. I actually don't have a name for this truck, so if you guys got an idea for a name, put it down in the comments. I'd like to know. Yeah, these are the best shorts I have. So yeah, again, I want to thank you guys for watching. All probably 2 of you now, if even that, but I don't know if anybody's watching now anymore. And yeah, please like, subscribe, and check out my future videos. There's always something going on. Yeah, thank you. Have a good evening, day, night stuff.